What is a Heggstad petition and how it can help you avoid probate? That's our topic. We'll get started right after this. In the state of California, there's a document that you can use. Well, it's actually a process. It's called the Heggstad Petition. It's a legal avenue to theoretically put something that was meant to be in a trust, usually a revocable living trust, and somehow it came out, and I'll tell you how that happens in a minute. Anyway, it's a way to put a piece of property or some other asset back into the trust to avoid probate. Hi, I'm Kim Ward. I am a certified probate real estate advisor here in beautiful, sunny San Diego. I work with my business partner and daughter, Ashley Rivera, and what we do is help with homes in probate. We help families through that probate real estate process. We're talking about a Heggstad petition and how it can be used to put a piece of property, piece of real estate of someone who has passed away back into their trust when somehow inadvertently the item, the house, has been removed from their trust. And a lot of times that can happen when the owner of a property, they refinance their property. Mortgage companies do not allow a property that's in a trust to be refinanced. The title must be moved from the trust. So for instance, my family trust, the Ward Family Revocable Trust, our home is titled in that trust. When we went to refinance, when all the rates went down to 3%, we, like everyone else, chose to refinance our home. The mortgage company, the title, pulled our home out of the trust and titled it in my husband and my name. Now I knew to make sure after we obtained the mortgage to put our property back into our trust. And there's a specific document that has to be recorded in order to do that. And then the title was back into our Ward Family Revocable Trust. But many people don't know this, and they go and they refinance their home and it just stays in their personal name and does not get put back into their trust, even though that was their intention always, to hold title in their trust for their family or their beneficiaries. And the Heggstad petition, well, it helps to avoid the complexities of probate by getting the property back into the trust, and it has to go through the court system. Now, some of the prerequisites for this to happen is that the home, the real property, had to be previously in a trust, and it had to be in that trust prior to the owner's passing away. Let's have a scenario that you, maybe your name's Sam, your father passed away, your mother had passed away previously. The home had been in the trust even 5 or 10 years earlier when your parents refinanced their property to get a better interest rate or cash out or some reason. Perhaps they decided to get a reverse mortgage on the property. Well, your father, let's say his name's Bob, didn't realize that the property had been pulled out of the trust in order to do that refinance. So he didn't get it back into the trust, and the mortgage companies are notorious for not sharing that information and making sure that the property gets retitled into the trust. So Bob didn't know. Your dad, Bob, passes away, and you think, okay, I'm going to handle this as his successor trustee. And when you look at the title of the property, you see it's in your father, Bob's name, and possibly still in your mother's name also. And you don't know. You think, well, it's in the trust, until you go to sell the property. Then an experienced realtor will let you know that the property is not titled in the trust. And now you're wondering, what do I do? And that's where a Heggstad petition comes in. You'll most likely want to hire a professional, an attorney, an estate attorney of some type, who will help you get through this process. It could take 60 days or more to get to a court date and get the judge put the property back legally into the trust. But you're going to want to go through that effort because probate is very expensive and it's even more complex and time-consuming. Last year, we met with Mariam, and in the scenario that I was just talking about, naming you Sam and your father Bob, it was similar to that. Mariam had already spoken with 2 real estate professionals when she called me and my partner, Ashley, to speak with her about how we could help her to sell her mother's home. That's when I sat down with her and I explained to her that I had done the research and it looked like the property was not in the trust. Mariam, she was devastated because she shared with us that her mother would never have not wanted this property in the trust. Her mother had been very careful to make sure that everything was in place, that upon her passing, things would be simple for Mariam. I shared with her to please don't worry. I'm pretty sure that an attorney can help you to get this back into the trust. It's just going to take a little time and some money. Long story short, 60 days later, the property was retitled in her mother's trust, and we began the sales process of selling her mother's home. And Mariam was very happy because she didn't want to go through the lengthy process and expensive process of going through probate, especially when her mother's intention had always been to have it in the trust. The steps you're going to want to consider if you're finding yourself in this place is you're going to want to interview an experienced attorney that can give you the information you need and make sure that it's a possibility to return the asset, the real property, the home of your loved one, into the trust again. Because the attorney will know all the current requirements and will be able to guide you specifically through this process. Here are some key points to keep in mind and to remember. First is you're going to want to ensure that there had been a pre-existing trust and that the home was titled in that trust. You're going to need to obtain an original court order that puts the property back into the trust. And you're going to want to make sure that the court confirms that you are the trustee of the trust. And again, going through that Heggstad petition, it can take some time and some money, but not nearly as much as going through a probate. The cost of a probate with statutory fees to an attorney, and it's a much longer timeline to go through the probate real estate process and then the whole probate process. Please, if you found this of value, please like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell button to be notified of our upcoming videos because you're not going to want to miss any of them. Thank you for watching.